Hello everybody and welcome to another Transformers third party review. Thanks to the guys at Robot Kingdom. Today I'm taking a look at the third and final member of the TFC Trinity Force, WILDHUNTer, also known as Blacker, the commander of the Brainmasters, and the third and final member of Road Caesar. I've been looking forward to this guy for a while now. Again, comes packaged in this really funky retro packaging. Quick look around the box. We have him with all of his awesome accessories, and he forms a mighty big buggy. And we get him on the side. On this side we have him in his combined mode, which is how he's going to be displayed on my collection. And on the top we have all of the modes, and on the bottom we have the various contact points. Let's crack him open. Now, like the other figures in this series, he comes packaged in this foam. I really like the foam. I think it's a great idea from third parties. It makes the world of difference. I would always go on this as opposed to the kind of plastic clamshells. I think this is much kinder on the figures themselves. Right, before we take an in-depth look at Blacker himself, let's take a look at the accessories that come with him. We get these guns, which obviously form the rest of the feet. We put the guns that come with the other two, and they just peg in. We get two of those. We get two of these hands. Gives us an idea of what we're going to be dealing with. Nice articulation there. We've got a ball socket as well as a pivot and another pin there. These can spread quite nicely. They are all different lengths, and we have two additional points of articulation on each finger, so that's actually a very fluid movement there. And this is on a mushroom peg. We get the alternative bot mode head. I'll cover this more in depth when we get him transformed up into his robot mode, but as you can see, there's a fair bit of light piping there. And here we have him in his itty bitty tiny Brainmaster. These are so small, but perfectly scaled with Star Saber. Up and down on those legs, and they can come forward so he can sit down. Now we also get a tech spec card. I would like these to be kind of more plasticky. This is very like cardboardy, but I don't collect the cards, so it's not a big issue. But I know some people would prefer those kind of more laminated style. And in this baggie here we have the tip of the sword, which doubles up as a standalone sword for him. We get the alternative faceplate for the combined mode, and we also get what appears to be some fillers here as well, but we'll cover those once we get to that part of the transformation. Right, here we have his vehicle mode. This is a gorgeous Dune buggy look. We actually have springs on the forks there. I don't think they're actually active springs, but it's nice to have them on the front there anyway. They don't think they're actually doing anything, but it's a funky look for them. We've got some nice tires here. They are rubbery, I think, although it's a very hard rubber. Some nice chrome rims there. I love this sweeping section, which is obviously going to form the chest plate. The back there, not horrendously untidy back passage. I've seen a lot worse, and the above view, it's what we'd expect. I mean, it is massive though. This is a truly huge Dune buggy. Just for scale comparison, he absolutely towers over the others. I mean, I know it's a different continuity, but he's big. I mean, he is like MP10 big. Now he's got a nice bit of heft to him, weighing in at 377 grams. That's 13.29 ounces. And of course, a must for all vehicles, he rolls exceptionally nicely. Right, it's going to be a long old video, so let's quickly step through this. Let's get him transformed up. Firstly, we need to pull these pieces down and just pull away. Pull like that. We can lift these panels now all the way up to the top, and there's this tab here. You want to just get your finger behind, pull and untab that. Bring these parts out and down. Come to the underside. This piece here is going to pull outwards, and these here are going to come untabbed and come down to the side. These wheels are going to come up, but don't pull them all the way over to the top yet, because we need to get access to this back piece which comes up. This piece here, by just applying pressure here and pulling this down, these wing tabs come out, and applying a little bit of pressure just behind them, they just come off and detach. You can now bring these wheels fully up to the top so they're flat. These wheel panels can pull and come down away from the top. Pull this up and just fully extend it out. And this piece here, this whole top section, is going to detach and ratchet its way up and out. Oh, those are some rather tasty ratchets there. If you just slide your fingers between his legs and just carefully caress this piece upwards, split the legs out, and then this piece here is going to fold down, fully open, and there's a hinge just in here. This is going to compress upwards. Bring this tab down like so. I want to just flip this piece up. This is a really nice clean transformation. Everything's moving really fluidly, and if you see here there's a slight gap in there. This peg is just going to come down, that's going to tab in there nicely. I wasn't a fan of how some of the vehicles transformed. This one, on the other hand though, this is nice and easy and fun. Just push that bit up. Now I'm not entirely sure what the instructions are indicating here, because they're saying we should bring this up and tab it in on here using this peg under here, but at the same time on the next picture they're saying use that as a heel spur. I guess that's dependent on what you want. If you want it more streamlined, personally I like the idea of a heel spur because you can pull off better poses. Just flip this spoiler section around. That's the front of the legs finished. Split the front of the vehicle open, and this piece here is going to lift upwards. Bring this part down so we can bring these fists down to bring this up. Now it's a tight squeeze, but the front fender will just slide all the way up, and then we can bring this down. As you can see, it now hides away inside there. The wheels probably have already come untapped by now, but we can bring those up and around. That's going to come up here, and that's going to go over the top of this arm. The arms are going to rotate 90 degrees. The arm itself is going to come out and extend, and you need to compress this hinge here so it's at a 90-degree angle. So we've got this kind of L shape. Right, now stay with me. We should have something that looks like this. This entire upper torso section. Make sure that this piece has dropped down and that this piece here is free. This entire piece here is going to rotate 180 degrees. Now with this piece being the front, you then need to make sure that the arms rotate so the wheel is at the back, and then we can bring them down. Do that with both arms. Now we have these two pieces here. This little hinge here comes out. That's going to come up. That's going to go in to the top of that piece there. And then we are going to pull that down so it locks into place. This front panel piece here, the head can fold down like that. And this piece here can also fold down. Rotate this center torso piece around so the combiner mode head is there. Make sure the waist is rotated around. Now bring this up so it's square. We want these holes facing here. And now if it's not already lined up, then just rotate the upper torso again until it's perfectly lined up. And we have a hole here, and these tabs here. This should, he says, should all line up nicely. So let's bring this up, tabbing in there and there, pushing together from the top here. Oh, there we go, lovely jubbly, nice and tight, just how I like it. Come around to this side. As you can see, we've got the head here. That's his robot mode head. He's just going to turn around, and he's not going to say much at the moment because he doesn't have a brain master. Bring this up and over, and there's these two holes here. They are going to line up with the holes on that next section. Up and just slide, and we want to just push, tab those in, bring the chest wall up, which now acts as a lift. This piece can just come up and over and out of the way. These can come around, and they're going to rotate as we bring them around. They can then come up, and as you can see, there's this slot here. It's just going to tab over, nice and tidily, just hiding away the side panels of the chest, and again helping to lock these shoulders into place. Make sure this hinge is brought down over the back. Come to the roof canopy, move this section out, down. There's now enough room for that to clear. This is now going to go up and out to the side. Using these double hinges, just bend this down and in to the center. So we've got these pieces here, and you've got these just tucked up on the back there. And this is going to tuck down. With this perfectly straight, you want to move the wheels arching back. They've got fantastic roll on those. We can then straighten up the front here. We can open up the ports. As you can see, there's a small lift available in there. Bring him in, pop him just inside there, and then bring this back up, and there we go. What an awesome head reveal. These just tab in and join together, and they form his shield, which we use this tab here on the wheel, and it tabs in to the furthest point. There we go, there's his wing shield. There we go, what an amazing look for him. And here we have him fully transformed up. I actually really like the bot mode. It's a lot cleaner, I think, than the other two. I love the big funky shield. It's not without its flaws. Personally, I would change out the head. I think the sculpt on the smaller head is better, and you get that kind of neck articulation added on when you have that head. The backpack does hang down, it does tab in, but it does tend to just poke out of those tabs ever so slightly. As you can see, the legs have tidied up quite nicely at the rear there. He's a very nice figure, but let's face it, I don't think many of you will be displaying him in his robot mode or his vehicle mode. I think, like me, most of you are getting this guy to complete your Trinity force and to give us a road Caesar. But as a standalone figure, he is fun. The transformation wasn't overly complex. The instructions aren't amazing, but the overall effect and results, I think, are worth the time and effort. There we go, a few different figures there for a varied size comparison. He's a good kind of tall Voyager to leader class figure. Well worth the buck. So there's the normal head, and there is the translucent kind of light piped head. The expression is a little bit more crisp on this guy. This is definitely a more G1 kind of animation look to him. Articulation wise, obviously the head doesn't move, but if we replace it out, then this is a ball mounted socket. The arms are on lovely ratchets. They can come up and down, lovely bend on the elbow. We get rotation on the wrist, and we get pinned fingers. The waist can rotate. We don't get an abdominal crunch. We get ratchets forward and back, ratchets out to the side, upper thigh rotation. Really nice deep double jointed knee there, and the feet can go up and down, can kind of pivot left and right as well, but it is kind of more cosmetic than practical. But yeah, he's a nice figure. He definitely looks, I keep going to change out the head. It doesn't work when you need to change it over. The backpack doesn't really want to stay where it's meant to be, but it's not overly intrusive on the bot himself. Those peg-in points that I said about covering up, they're just on the other side of this waist. There's a screw on either side of here. It's difficult for me to gain access to, but that's where they peg in. They basically hide the screws. I never pop those in. I generally keep those to one side because they're the sort of thing that can pop out and get lost. Right, we can now start building up our combiner parts. So you want to just unfold their weapons. They just slide, tab and tab in. This is how you make the feet. Grab the sword, bring these pieces down over the point there, and this is just going to tab in nice and firm. I mean, that is a massive sword. Make sure these are open, flip the hand in and push up and pull up, and we should be able to bring these pegs out, and then just close these back off. Come to the feet. You want to make sure that these are down. Untab these back panels. This red tab here needs to be tucked in. Bring this up and bring this up and out of the way. Bring this piece around and down. That's going to come up on itself. Now tucking this piece in, don't have to tab it in, just tuck it in, allows us to actually bring this whole piece down. As we're bending this leg down, make sure the foot is curled up. So when we straighten this up, we have this nice tidy gap. This can be fully rotated around. These are just going to slide down into those grooves like so. Bring this up and over. This is going to come down. That's just going to tab in on the side, and this is going to come over, push and close off, and that's basically the hand and lower forearm done. If we could do that with both sides. Right, now let's get these legs sorted. You want to bring the shin down. So this piece here is at the front. This wheel is going to rotate up and over all the way over to the back, and it's just going to fold in behind those legs. And then we want to just bring this connector just down and out of the way. Make sure all of this is tabbed in correctly. Come to this leg piece. You want to rotate this waist 180 degrees like so. In turn, you want to rotate the arms again 180 degrees, and then we want to rotate these at the waist 90 degrees so that we have these holes at the front. These are going to come up, straighten up this hinge, rotate it around, and we have these tab here. These are going to come down. This comes up as well. This opens and the head can come upwards. Everything's tabbed in. Straighten up the head. We have these panels here. These are going to just tab in on either side of this chest plate, pushing and securing in, and then this is going to push in over the top. Now before we tab everything in and there's no going back, you need to make sure do we have the clean side of these on here, and we have all of these holes on the legs facing the front of the torso. Now is the last time just to swap and change these around in case you've gotten a bit kerfuddled because of my confusing transformation. But just bring this up, and this is where we can now just tab everything in to hold these pieces into place. Oh, lovely jubbly. Bring this piece down, rotate the arm around, same on this side, just rotate this around, bring that down, rotate the arm, straighten up these, bring these pieces down. Right, straighten this piece here and bend this one up, bring this backpack section up, and there's these slots here. Taking a tab into these wings that we folded under earlier on, just bring those out and extend those pegs down, and we're going to just collapse this up, tabbing that in on the top there like so, securing that into place first. And then as we collapse this back panel, we can bring these side pods in, and they are going to tab into the waist, and they're going to tab into the hole just on the underside here, which secures everything fantastically into place. Aim for the hole. Work that joint in, and darn, that's in tight. And then with this piece straight, we can bring the wheels down. They're going to fill in that gap there. These wing pieces can come out on either side. I have the waist around the wrong way. I don't know what I did wrong there, but there's so many joints on here, they're so easy to chop and change them back. There we go. That is basically him done. Bring these chest shields over, straighten up. Here's a crown. Now I must say, I was a bit dubious of this connection point here, but once you push and tab these joints in, they are incredibly impressive. Very, very kind of blown away by how well they connect. Now there is jack diddly squat on how to get these bits attached, and they were a bloody nightmare. You have to bring this hinge out. It is wedged in there, something rotten. You meant to pull this down, and this is just meant to pull out nice and easy. And I mean, oh, I used to use quite a fair bit of force, especially on this guy, but once you've got it, you can then make sure that these joints have grooves on either side, and then we can just slide those down into that groove, and then bring that joint back up, and then of course bring those roof canopies back inside. And here we have him fully transformed up into his combined mode. I've got my rotating base out, but he's too heavy, and his feet kind of rub against the sides as he's going around, so I wanted to be all posh, but apparently I'm destined not to be. He looks very nice fully combined. He does look somewhat kind of leg heavy, I guess, but then again, so did the original toy. Love how he looks. Now the only issue I have with them is if we do spin him around, look, just imagine it's on a turntable. My back here does tend to pop out. Nothing is going to come unplugged. Everything is in there exceptionally firmly. I mean, the backpack itself is amazingly tidy considering what we've just done. And that's a very good looking road Caesar. You can now see where I have to put my two replacement pieces, and I've got this kind of more growly face, I guess, as opposed to that kind of road Caesar smirk going on. But I like the head sculpt. I think it's a very nice sculpt. We've got a good range there, up and down. We can go left and right, and we can tilt side to side. The shoulders can come up and down. Really nice ratchet. You have to be careful because there's several joints on the inside here, so moving one may move another. These do move out of the way of the forearms, which is nice. Upper bicep rotation, we get a 90-degree bend on the elbow. Would have liked more there, maybe a little bit more extension on this arm, but who knows, maybe I've done it wrong. There is always that possibility. Sometimes I get things wrong. We get to rotate the hands. I've already covered the articulation on those rather nice fingers. We get some waist rotation there. Unfortunately, there's no abdominal crunch. We have floating hip skirts to the front, so we can lift the legs forwards. Oh, quite a heavy ratchet there. Quite a heavy leg though for those ratchets there. Out to the side. Again, very heavy legs. We get some rotation on the upper thigh. We get rotation on the knee. Unless we have some sort of hidden joint in amongst all of this, like we get with the Unique Toys figures. I can't seem to see a knee bend on this guy. I could be completely wrong. Please, if I am, point it out to me, and I will do another video just covering what I've missed. But yeah, it doesn't appear to have one in there, but the feet are amazing, forwards and backwards. We can tilt side to side, and we've also got rotation on those as well. That's a really amazing range. I mean, we can get a crazy wide stance. I mean, he looks like he means business, doesn't he? And weight wise, we weigh in at 866 grams. That's 30.54 ounces. And last but by no means least, here he is for a quick scale comparison alongside Victory Saber and MP10. That is some pretty darn good scaling, if I do say so myself. I really love building up my Victory shelf, and this is a victory for TFC. Yeah, that was terrible, wasn't it? But this figure isn't. This figure is a very nice shelf piece. This is how he is going to be displayed. I need to play around with his articulation a little bit more and see if I can find a hidden knee joint or something in there, or maybe an extension on those arms. But all in all, it's a very good piece and a gorgeous finish to an amazing tribute to Transformers Victory Road Caesar. Thanks again to the team at Robot Kingdom for making this review possible. Until next time, from myself and Trinity Force TF-03 Wild Hunter and the rest of his team, thanks for watching. Goodbye.